rocket punch already.
What's up guys, it's chachipower here. I'm going to update Project Rodimus for you guys that have been following it. I forgot what part this is, it'll be on the title somewhere. But if you're looking for the other parts of this build, you're going to find them on the chachipower channel, okay, which is my old channel for the reviews. But anyway, like I said, I was doing Project Rodimus. Going to show you guys where I'm at with that. As far as painting models and all that stuff, I haven't done, well, I should say I've done a lot. I've just never completed a good one. I've always ended up throwing out all my model kits, and of course they were all Japanese and very expensive. So luckily I'm a bit older and a little bit more patient as far as painting and stuff. So stuff tends to come out nice. But as far as painting robots and stuff, I've done a few Gundam model kits which were garbage because I don't like the look of them just all plasticky. So I took a shot at buying some nice kits, and I would say it's about 10 years old, but this is when I actually started experimenting with Gundam markers. So I bought this kit. I believe it's Tekkaman or something like that. I'm not sure the name of the character, but I built this. The blue, I think, was the first time I ever had paint come out nice ever in my life. And if I can find the same blue, hopefully I'll be doing the Blade Runner spinner if I can get a hold of that kit with LEDs. So yeah, this was one of the first ones I've done robot wise. Another one that I did that I was pretty proud of was Pat Labor. I think this is a Zero. Yeah, the Type X Zero, something like that. I was pretty happy with this. I didn't paint it a glossy color, it was just a flat white, and the Gundam markers contrast really nice. Although if I was to do it again, I'd probably use a lighter Gundam marker. But this is a Bandai kit, and the Tekkaman 2 is also a Bandai kit. But the Bandai kits are usually really good. It says rubber joints and stuff. So I guess the point of showing you this is I haven't really done too many robot paint things. But the video is for this guy here, which is the Hasbro Rodimus. And you'll have to excuse me if I keep looking to the side, because that's how I know what I'm showing you guys. Yeah, so here is Hasbro Rodimus. Now, if you don't know the story behind this guy, I bought a Hasbro Rodimus at full price, so it was quite expensive. And I decided it'd be an awesome idea to paint this to look like a, like a high-end Goken. Kind of give it the metal robot look without really actually being metal. And the only metal on this robot, if you're not aware, are your feet. So I took a stab at it, bought some automotive paint, and the paint that I bought did not spray. Like, when you want to get good paint on something, you have to mist the paint on first to get it to tack. This basically was splattering paint out of the can, which I freaked out when I tested it and it splattered, but I figured it'd be no big deal. But as soon as I started painting this guy, I started panicking because I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? But luckily, lacquer paint is very resilient. It's very hard to mess up lacquer paint. It's very easy, but it's also very easy to work with, dries quick. Even if it looks like you've made a mess, like overspray, it tends to dry down and look better. So the results were good enough for me to leave alone. Of course, I did do wet sanding. What that means is you sand with a very, very fine sandpaper. Don't have any around. Under running water, or just wet it. It doesn't have to be running water, just as long as it's wet, and you get like a nice dull finish, really smooth. Then you take a polish with a cloth, and it gets you a nice gloss like so. So I did that on most of the figure. Another thing I did is I chromed the face, not like actual chrome plating, like vacuum plating like this. No, I didn't do that. What I did was just use chrome paint. And chrome paint, if you've ever used it, when you spray it, sometimes it hates itself and starts like moving away from the other paint particles if there's the slightest amount of grease. So in order to avoid that, I had to sand his face down just to get it get some tack to it. I didn't primer it because the primer I have was not enamel based, so I didn't want the two paints fighting each other. And then I used acrylic paint for his eyes. I wish you could see that. So it's like a blue, and he does have this is Rodimus Prime face. He does have the hot rod face underneath, which I also did in the same fashion, and everything still works. The visors, let me see if I can show you. The visor still comes down, so everything's still fully functional. Obviously you have to be careful with scratching the face behind it, so you have to kind of push it, help it along a lot more than you would normally because it's painted. And what else did I do? I also did the wing, which is also glossy. You'll notice the backpack is nice and shiny too. This didn't really require any wet sanding because it didn't have any orange peel really, at least not enough to warrant having to wet sand. Same thing with the wing, although I still may polish the wing. It depends. I think it's fine the way it is, but I used it's called Inca Gold lacquer spray paint, and then I went over it with clear coat. Now both paints are actually lacquer based, but for some reason the clear coat fights a little bit with the base coat, and it actually created like a wrinkle finish on the gold, you know, but it's even all over, so it just looks really nice, you know, and I kind of like the way that came out. It adds a lot of depth, and of course tons of clear coat so you can polish it and have it look like glass. And then I did the legs. These legs are normally red. Now they are not. Only underneath they are like these red panels. I basically did it like the chachipower. So, oh, and I did finish doing, how does this open? Haven't quite finished it, but I did do these panels. On the inside I started painting them. The only downside to having a figure that's completely painted is it's highly susceptible to chips. So anything that rubs that's paint, it's going to have scuff marks, and that's kind of impossible to get around it. Which is why most of the time, like with Gokins, if there's anything that comes into metal-to-metal contact, they usually make one part of that plastic or unpainted. So this is really not made to transform. It's really just made to look good. I would love to see it in the alternate mode. People keep asking me to do it, and I really don't want to because my plans are really to sell this guy off. So transformation's out of the question. Now, like I said, it's not perfect. Anything that does touch will chip or scuff, so there's, you know, little stupid things like where this rotates, it's scuffed there. But whoever buys this, you know, you gotta face the facts. This is paint against paint. So any kind of movement, the shoulders do touch this orange here, so there are a couple of scuffs. So if there's any would-be buyers, I'm going to use this video for you guys to check out. Just know that it's impossible to make a highly painted figure like this and have it be non-scratchable. You know, just picture your car doors. If there weren't like the rubber linings around it every time you slam a door, you'd be losing paint. Until they come up with invincible paint, this will have to do. But overall, I mean, it does have great shelf presence. I mean, you know, this, just look at it. It looks like a metal figure. Like, this looks like it could be made out of metal, just the way it's all glossed up. And I think one of the best features of this figure that I put together is the fact that it has a gimmick, which is the matrix here, which normally comes with the figure. But I've done a little cool thing to it. I've added an LED so that it does light up, which is cool. And it still is removable. I'm going to show you guys how that works. To get the LED to work, you just open the cockpit up. There's the electronics there. And just so you know that it is a real LED, there you go. And it lights up with the switch. So you can leave it like that on or shut it off. And I did want to show you guys the cockpit. Did detail the cockpit. So you get the seats. I did see a video of Spike in there from the movie, and I did notice the seats were brown, but I don't know the rest of the cockpit colors, so I kind of had to guess. He does have the steering wheel painted, he does have the screens painted blue, and the rest is painted gray. You do have to do some slight weathering to it, just, you know, so it looks like it's been used. Not weather like make it look old, but, you know, like shading and stuff, just to give it a little more depth. But again, there's the electronics for the LED. And LED, there you go. So you have a light up matrix. I did say it was removable. Let me just close this. One thing to note, I slept on it like a couple weeks. Not slept on this, I mean on the idea of putting an LED, and just wondering where the hell I was going to put it. So the thing is, the LED placement is not the best. It's the only place you can really, with the way this figure is. There's not a lot of space. It did work out good to have it in there. Just makes sense to have it in the cockpit area. But it took me a long time to just figure out where to do it. And I kind of wanted to have it somewhere in the chest, so it's in the, you know, in the robot itself here. But there's no space. So I had to go in the cockpit area. The only thing is now you have to be careful with letting the top separate from this, because the wires are not long enough. I had to shorten the wires so that they're not flowing all over the place. Now you can remove the LED stuff. It's held on with tack, so it's not permanent. So you can take that off if whoever decide, if I even decide to sell it, whoever owns this, if you're going to transform it, take the chance of doing that, you're able to. And I did say the matrix is removable. It comes right out, and you have the LED feature still in there, so in case you need to take it out for whatever reason or pop it back in. Now that's pretty much it. You'll notice here I didn't paint the little caps here because they do touch this part, so I did leave that alone, but it's not too noticeable. I did chrome the hands just like I did the face, same thing. I did want to point out one thing though that's really important. I keep talking about paint chips and stuff like that. The great thing is I used automotive paint, so if there is a chip, just grab automotive paint, dab it. That's it. And as long as you're good with dabbing, if you know how to dab chips on a car, same thing. You dab it. If you want to polish it, go ahead and polish it. Make it look perfect again. It's car paint. If I update this video again, it will be with new flames. These flames were just outlined by hand. I don't know if you can see it that clearly, but the Autobot logo kind of annoys me. I hate when it's not bordered in white. And the flames, although they came out good, I don't like the look of the hand drawn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Illustrator on my computer, design some flames, print them on transfer paper, put it here, and then gloss coat this. The reason I'm selling it because I wanted to test it out on here, see how good it comes out. Maybe I'll build another one, or I'll start some other project. If you guys are interested, this will be up for sale soon. That's pretty much it, guys, so stay tuned for more.